So some iceberg, you'll be heavy in my mind. Can you get the heck out? I need rest now. Got me bummed out. You, baby, baby, baby. I've been on my empty mindset. I should have kept from losing the best in me. I worry that I wasted the best in me. Oh, you baby, you don't care. Sometimes I be the nuisance, it's just urgent. Trying to make some little change, got me a war in my mind. Gotta let go away, think he was holding me. Choose the right, but it will pick up and find me. On the wall, I wave my arm, I'm feeling this now. Still wanna try, still believe in good days. Always inside, good days in my mind. Help me on my fears, my will. Since I disappeared, if you live, feeling like Jericho, feeling like Joe when he lost his shit. Gotta hold my cross to death alone now. Ooh, play the deal, play the kill, the fool. No, you like that shit, ooh, baby, heavy on my empty mindset. I gotta keep from losing the best of me. Still worried that I wasted the best in me. Oh, you been, you don't care. Sometimes I be the nuisance, it's just urgent. Trying to make some little change, got me a war in my mind. Gotta let go away, he was holding me. Choose the right, but it will pick up in front of me. On the wall, I wave my arm, I'm feeling it now. Still wanna try, still believe in good days. Sunny inside, good days in my mind. Gotta get right, trying to free my mind before the end of the world. I don't miss no ex, I don't miss no text. They choose not to respond. I don't regret, just pretend shit never happened. Half of us laying waste to our youth is in the present. Half of us chasing fountains of youth and it's in the present now. Welcome to another informational video tonight. I'm gonna get right into it. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna jump right into it. Okay. Okay. Something outside has made me high. Within my mind, I'm thinking, am I numb? That would sound rather dumb. Because I'm always on the run. Not fully understanding that life has just begun. Every day my soul cries, every day my soul dies. I'm seeking refuge from the pain and mine that was given me, quite selfishly, yes. A deep stain left embedded, crazy glued to you for eternity. Hey, Bronx Black Power God, how are you doing this evening? I know it's late. I'm about to get started now. Let me fix this here. Okay, this is my video. Oh, I want to start it all over here. I want to start it over fresh. Okay, so I'll start it fresh in a minute here. And what I should do was here. Go back. Oh my goodness. Okay, I went back. I'm gonna pull it up in a minute here. Fix it. Okay. Oh, what happened? It's like it jumped off of mine onto this junk. Okay, here we go. This is the video we want to play, but I want to start it over. Start from the beginning.
For carpentry, electronics, auto mechanics, and many, many others. So we were encouraged, pardon?
Then to your lack of employment, the young people had to go away from home. You know, every summer, most of the young people around here went to Atlantic City to work.
Relative to white America, we were taught that a lot of the values that came into being were set by middle class, let's say white America. In a way, we were to emulate them, you know, because at this point we were at the very threshold of integration. Emulate them, take on many of these as much as possible, middle class values and virtues. That was a kind of inferior stigma placed on black people. But you had to look through it to see exactly where, you know, the real truth behind it. That is a stigma of inferiority. You know, you're not exactly where you should be. You know, but you need to do this. You need to do thus and so. In order to be accepted in a white world, into a white culture. You see, they have their values. We have our values. But in a general sense, the world was teaching this too. In a general sense, our values did not bear, they would tell us in general, as much weight as theirs. So let's try. What does this mean then? What do we say? Go to college. You know, excel in school while you're here, and wherever you do go. Appearance, reading, writing, many other things.
And then too, in this area, we were taught to stay in our place. You know, whatever that meant, stay in your place, because our parents were afraid that if we stepped out of our place, we might get killed, might get hurt, because they knew that because of racism here in Prince Edward County, you know, anything could happen to you. So they were fearful. It hurt, but it brought about some self-pride too, because in school we were taught, we had role models, like I mentioned before. We had role models, and our teachers, you know, instilled self-pride, and we just knew that someday, you know, it wasn't going to be like this all the time. That someday we were going to be somebody. So you just kept that in your minds, that one day we're going to leave Prince Edward. We're not going to be in farmers the rest of our lives, you know. And for the most part, most of us did.
There were imaginary geographical boundaries in our minds as to how far we could go. There were imaginary psychological boundaries in our mind and emotional boundaries in our minds as to how far we could go, you know, relative to the black-white situation. So we learned to work within the confines, to be creative, as much as possible to make, as black people say, a lot of times, make do with what you have. And by this adaptability to this own inner culture, this is what brought forth many of the things, many of the qualities and the strengths. And it meant that we had to live beyond where we were. We were not taught just to watch where you're walking right now, just to look down right where you were in the 50s. But look ahead. There's something out there, go get it.
This article I'm reading from is the Daily Beast on the Netflix doc, CIA Flooded Black Communities with Crack. To discuss crack cocaine is to tackle a litany of bigger, intertwined American issues. Racial and economic disparities, inner city poverty and crime, media reporting and sensationalism, political and legislative campaigning and action, mass incarceration and exploitation, and personal and communal responsibility. All of these topics are present in crack, cocaine, corruption, and conspiracy. Yet, at near 89 minutes, Stanley Nelson's new Netflix document, premiering January the 11th, bites off far more than it can chew, resulting in analysis that ranges from the persuasive to the cursory to the borderline indigenous. Crack cocaine corruption and conspiracy employs a general chronological structure to tell its sprawling tale, beginning with the 1970s through the 1980s rise of cocaine, whose cost gave it an aura of being the glamour drug of the rich and powerful that made it inaccessible for most lower income Black Americans, whose dreams of using coke, the film contends, were spurred on the movies like Scarface. However, things took a turn when dealers began distilling cocaine into crack, a cheaper and more potent variant that became an immediate substance abuse sensation. Before long, entire urban communities, which were already struggling with mounting unemployment, poverty, and crime, were being decimated by the scourge of crack, which was perpetrated by those young men and women who saw an opportunity to profit off others' suffering, became instant millionaire dealers. If it wasn't for economic disparities, if it wasn't for the changing of our values to white America's values, do you think that our people would eat off of each other?
Keep the fuck up and all that shit, man. Won't you tell them about how you got started on crack and what attracted you to Skid Row, little homie?
I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. And everything I love, man. This one, but man, I never thought in a million years. I ain't gonna lie. I'm 24 years old. I was born in 1989. I'm born and raised. I heard my that's it, man. You know, the Lord got a purpose and a plan for me. I think this is just all like the child's place I'm gonna go through, man. That's all I gotta say. I would just sleep over there. That's why I'm mad. It looked like, what's up? You know, for everybody else. So, that brown brick wall where I was just sleeping. That's why I'm so mad. Yeah, she came and woke me up out of my sleep, homie, for nothing. He got crack shit alone, though, homie. He's still young, man. You need to find you one of them fat bitches at least. If you don't smoke crack, man, find you a fat, you know, or a skinny female, man. You should go to her house, sleep there, eat whatever else, man. Play the game, man. Don't play your pipe, man. Treat yourself and don't beat yourself, man. What you doing out here tonight, OG? I got an heroin user position. It sounds weird, but it was everything. Heroin seemed to be one that was important, and it was cool. It's not cool anymore. It's a long thing, but it was great then. It was cool, and you know, people would say the heroin was cool now. You know, the heroin downtown sucks. But you know.
Sexual exploitation has decimated many of our women and has pushed us into, we have been pushed into an economic disparity to where we don't have, many of us feel like a choice to go out and do certain things to make money, to make ends meet. It's a curse of being invaded, of being stolen, of being taken, of being robbed of that which was sacred. The mental state has been broken. To where the mind no longer connects to the true purpose of the body. Abuse, rape has transformed the mind's thinking of the body. It brought us down to a lower level of existence, of knowing, has decimated.
right here next to me. Sure, wanna give you my all, exclusive. Girl, I love the way that you seduce me. Let me hold you in my arms and treat you like a queen. Body like a goddess, you deserve to find a place. Every dollar, every second you can have from me. Girl, just make the call. I'm ready to give my all to you. Whatever you like, girl, I'ma spend it all on you. Give me my time, girl, I'ma spend it all on you. Day and night, girl, I'ma spend it all on you. Out of that price, girl, I'ma spend it all on you. Whatever you like, girl, I'ma spend it all on you. Give me my time, girl, I'ma spend it all on you. Put my life on the line, girl, I'ma spend it all on you. I'ma give you my all, girl, I'ma spend it all on you. Balenciaga says she like it, Chanel bags, get your priceless. Anything out of white fat, first class for the flight plan. I need you to love, baby, soon as you. We definitely have the talent, the brilliance to turn around our situation. Yes, in the video that the Dems put out for getting out the vote, it was in a way a disgrace to our Black community due to the fact that they were saying they needed to exploit women, Black women, to Black men in order to get them to pay attention to what they need to do. Now, these are very intelligent sisters, but what they participated in was very discrediting to their intelligence. And not only their intelligence, but the Black community. Because it's putting us at a level that we shouldn't be even at all. But only if we can take our own power back and utilize it in a way that benefits us instead of a way that decimates us. We can start by playing chess. Think I cried for the last time. Now all you see is rage in these weary eyes. It's raining here inside this heart of mine. Feel like I'm walking through the storm without a guide. You took all my power, left me in distress. Now after all said and done, I'm left with emptiness. Say you're sorry, say you're sorry, say I'll be alright. You left me in the dark, but now I see the light. My soul cries, oh my Lord.
This now viral video of the arrest of Martise Johnson, a 20-year-old Black student at the University of Virginia, leading to tension and turmoil on UVA's campus today. The government calling for a criminal investigation.
We're going to get to the bottom of it.
The arrest caught on tape. The college junior requiring 10 stitches after witnesses say officers acted with unnecessary force early Wednesday morning outside a bar popular among students.
I go to UVA. I go to UVA. I go to UVA. Well, it's been called Atlanta's two-year nightmare, and for good reason. Black children snatched from the streets. Their bodies found along roads, in woods, and rivers. Everyone is looking out for the Atlanta killer, the Atlanta murderer, the Atlanta monster. Finally, police think they have their serial killer.
They stop Wayne Williams, and the first words out of his mouth were, "I bet this is about those boys."
But decades later, with the case closed, doubts persist.
That may go down as one of the greatest miscarriages of justice in the history of this state.
Hello, I'm Bill Curtis. A city too busy to hate is an unofficial motto of Atlanta, Georgia. But between 1979 and 1981, it was nearly torn apart by... That summer, some mothers of murder victims, including Willie Mae Mathis and Camille Bell, formed a committee to put pressure on the Atlanta Police Department. Soon after, the city announced the creation of a homicide task force.
Those mothers really got that thing going. And it was about a week later when the Atlanta police assigned, I believe it was 5 detectives, just to look into this case.
In the following weeks, 2 more children disappeared, including 12-year-old Clifford Jones. He was found strangled behind a small shopping plaza next to a dumpster. For the first time, a full year after the murders began, police started telling the public that the crimes might all be related.
All of the cases involve young black people under the age of 15. The method under which they were killed in terms of the homicide involves some similarities. We have to look at the possibility that there may be some connection.
The children were all about the same age, size, and build. Many lived in the same poor Atlanta neighborhoods. Most were boys who earned money doing odd jobs or selling trinkets on street corners. The city's task force was expanded. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation got involved. Still, investigators had no good suspects. September 1980. 11-year-old Darren Glass became the 14th child to vanish after stepping off a bus at an intersection. Frustrated and terrified, Atlanta's black community came together for weekly marches organized by the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
We wanted to send a message to the authorities that they had to come to bring to bear all the resources at their command to solve these crimes.
In October 1980, the body of another child, a 10-year-old boy named Charles Stevens, was found dumped along a road. Acknowledging the public's anger over the unsolved murders, city officials urged unity.
We can't start pointing fingers and become divisive as a community. What we have to do is recognize that we have a concern that impacts on all of our citizens.
Just 3 days later, an
My soul's crying no more. Oh my soul's crying mama. Yeah. My soul's crying.
Republicans are going back to the drawing board.
All right, family. Hey, God, Nollywood. Welcome. I'm going to share this video here that I was looking at earlier. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong side. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, oh.
Virginia homeowners, if you have a power meter like this on the side of your house, you can qualify to erase your energy bill at no cost to you. By getting solar panels installed with no cost up front, you'll get your power from the sun. Now, what that's going to do for you is make your power meter run backwards. That's going to put a credit on your electric bill so you never have to pay it again. Plus, you'll get paid for all the excess.
This show will concentrate on one of the greatest institutions in the world, the black woman. In order to get the real feelings and perspective of our sister, we went to her. A group was brought together with as many differences as likenesses, but held together by the common thread of the black experience. Another institution was added, Sister Lena Horne, who can, from first experience, speak about survival if you are born a woman and black in this society. Our woman has borne us, nurtured us, and saved our race, and in the process, she often got the worst of it. As a unique institution, the black woman remains.
I believe the role of a black woman is to work for a just society, to the kind of a society in which children can grow up without fear, in which they can hope. Don't you think so?
Really, to boil it all down, black woman is the mother of civilization. That adds it up. She is. She's actually the mother. That's it. She's the mother of the earth. She bears forth fruit, fertilize the soil.
I agree. I agree. I think we have overlooked the fact that black women have been for the white nation. They have sucked us dry. That we have nursed the children, we have fed them, we have done everything, put all our energies, all our work into working for the white family. And now it's time for us to take all our strength, all the strength that Monahan says we have. We're supposed to be the strongest woman. Anyway, it's time for us to take all our strength, all our milk, all of that, and put it into working for the black nation.
I'd like to touch on something here. I'm glad you brought this up. And I don't know what reaction this is going to get because a lot of people jump at me when I say it. But unfortunately, all people in this country, black people and white people, are subjugated to the same system of media, are subjugated to the same systems of communication, are subjugated to the same conditioning. And that's something we definitely have to reckon with if we're going to ever get through any of this stuff. Moynihan, that's sort of the name that's associated with that word matriarchy, definitely has to be dealt with.
I'd like to deal with him face to face.
Right. I think that unfortunately, a lot of us, black men and black women, believe in the myth of that matriarchy. And I think that belief engenders a lot of negative things. Number one, it says that matriarchy is inferior to patriarchy, which is a whole thing right there. You see that patriarchy is a sort of natural or divine order of things, which is not so. Two, that black men have believed and internalized the myth of white womanhood in this country and Anglo-Saxon impositions, so that they place us in relation to where white women are.
Two things a woman, I believe, being a black woman, and a very proud black woman, can do for a man, make him or break him. And then you take into consideration how the black man has been degraded by the white man. His woman, adequately couldn't have the luxuries of another woman born the same just like her. This man has to, black men have stood by for a very, very long time and been humiliated by the system. He can't get the job that this fella can get. And you must understand that his wife might have to go on welfare. He has to stay in the humility of that. He has to watch the plumber duck if the welfare worker come in there. You understand me? He has always been made to feel he's below the next man. So you must take into consideration. Now black men are learning, that they're part. They're beginning to feel like a man. They're getting their dignity and their pride back. So he needs a woman to keep on pushing him. Vice versa, When you say about, in the system, this system has destroyed actually the black man. Because everything that we've ever done, there's no part of this country that you can say, if you touch that a black man didn't bring it in here. Everything that they built, they've never been able to share with it. I don't even want to hear that. What society have done just took our black men and destroyed their manhood. That's what they've done. They ain't abetted.
I'm certainly not in disagreement. I'm in 200% agreement with everything you said. I think we all are.
Mightn't it be, we understand that what the brothers are going through now, as you say, the cultural national, but mightn't it all be very revolutionary, and you might be the better woman for understanding that at this point they need you to walk a few feet behind and get their manhood together. So if it takes that, then I'm going to do whatever the brothers need now. I've been doing a lot of research on slavery and talk about wiping out and ripping off our people. They did it to the black man. They did it. And if it takes, at this point, a cultural national say you got to walk 4 paces behind me, baby, slow. If that might be revolutionary, I'll do that. I'm going to do anything at this point that's needed.
Is that revolutionary? How revolutionary is it if one half of us is in condescension and a kind of almost fear saying, walking 10 paces behind you, saying that in order for me to, quote, regain my manhood,
maybe that's
I have to deny you your peoplehood.
No.
Is that revolutionary? I think we really have to explore
if somebody
that.
really needs that, I don't. We just have to do whatever we need to do to help.
That
these
says
black
to me
men
that
get
you
together.
really believe that there has been this thing called a matriarchy that, as Moynihan
I
put
believe
it,
we've been ripped off as a people. Black people have been ripped off.
No, we haven't been ripped off.
but you're not dealing with the internal thing that really.
I take that back. Black people haven't been ripped. Black people have been raped of every ounce of human things that's entitled and due another human being.
Right. Do you know how we really can't get this together? And really, because to me, this is very alien, and we shouldn't be sitting here talking about defining something which has been defined for us. We should be about redefinition. And I don't particularly care whether I walk alongside, in back of, or in front of. That is going to have to be defined for me by my man. We know too well what our being is all about in the United States of Europe. We have to deal with that. That's why I started out by saying, are we talking about changes within existing systems? Because that's all we're talking about. We're talking about a black nation within a European nation. And if we have to deal with that, then let's redefine our own culture and stop being a subculture. Stop worrying about the man. That's deifying him. Who is the man?
I agree with you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to mention in terms of cultural nationalism and what, brothers feel. I don't know, if it's all true that brothers would like you to walk 10 paces in back of them. But I do know that we do have a definite role. And until we play our definite role, they cannot play their definite role. And our roles are complementary. Complete and make perfect that which is imperfect. And that if we go about being the inspiration of the nation, and again, educating the children of the nation, and participating in the social development of the nation, that it would be no problem. And when we say...
You see, when we were taken and put into forced labor, there was no we weren't in a place of being where we are able to be in existence. Our very existence was to serve the wealthy, rich Caucasoid. And therefore, we worked alongside our men. So did our children work with us. So everybody worked. So there was no treating or getting treated or dealing with the same culture you would deal with in the Caucasoid culture, where we saw the woman not having to work but stay in the house, and then she didn't even want to take care of the children. It was usually the Black woman that had to take care of the children and breastfeed their babies. So you begin to understand how the effects of that and us having to be incorporated into a society that distinguishes between the man and the woman. But once we were able to get into our own society, that wasn't the same. The problem with their culture is the man and woman role. In our culture, that wasn't a problem. That is not a thought or a battle. At least it wasn't until integration. And that's just my point of view of it.
We should not discuss things, we start out to discuss them. Like, why raise Monahan if he's invalid? Don't raise him. Don't talk about him.
I really believe this very strongly, that as much as we would all like to say that and struggle every day re-examining ourselves to do just that, that we are unfortunately very much a part of that dominant culture. It does affect us. Now, if it didn't affect us, we wouldn't be fighting crackers. And that's the truth of it. If it didn't affect us, we wouldn't get mad about what Mr. Moynihan writes. And if it didn't affect us, certain people would not react to the myth of the matriarchy in the way they do. And that's why it has to be exposed and destroyed. It's not that I really want to spend time talking about Mr. Moynihan. It's that I think that we have to get rid of the illusions, we have to get rid of the poisons, we have to get rid of the lies. And one way to do that is expose it and dissect it.
Another way, if we create a new life, a new value system, and live it as an
Exactly.
example.
That's what I'm talking about.
That would probably be the best way. Because then people could see it as a living thing and not as a theory. Because what we need to do is to reestablish a new value system. That's what Black people need.
Right,
A value
and how
system.
exactly, and how do we go about that?
We go about it the way you go about daily work. First of all, you decide what you want. You establish your values and you start to live it. And the people in your community, you start talking to your neighbors. You get yourself together first.
Exactly.
Then you get your community together.
We're in agreement.
Then you get your neighborhood together.
We're in agreement.
Right. And then you can move on out. But in the beginning, you got to make sure you got yourself together.
Right.
You know, you have to start right here.
But I think we ought to be sure we understand what she's saying. Now, this relates to what you said earlier about the Black nation, right?
Exactly.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean by the Black nation.
I mean, Black people's lives, being self-determining, defining yourself, naming yourself, and having political power. We're a nation already without political power and military power. We're a cultural nation without political and military power. We're a nation, you know, in captivity by another people, a people who have a different, totally different culture than we have, who cannot even relate to the things that we relate to. That is the problem. And as Black women, we have to be the inspiration for the nation, for our men. We have to start out into the community educating the children, educating ourselves. Because once we educate ourselves, the children will become educated, because we are the ones that teach the children. We are the ones that decorate the homes. We are the ones that are with both female and male children. We are the ones that the children look to as the image in terms of their daily education. So it is important that we don't get our values mixed up and feel that we have to educate the world. We haven't first educated ourselves. It's still always a self thing. Indeed. I mean, the world will relate to us once we can relate to ourselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we're afraid of definitions and afraid to set guidelines because we might have to live by them. If you stand up and say a black woman should do this and that, then you might have to do that. But if you say, well, we don't have to say anything, we can just do it. Do what? So like everybody can do their own thing. But every society needs a value system. Every society has a criteria in which they live by.
And we live by everybody else's.
Exactly.
Right. We should have that.
Every step, every decision, every movement, I do with purpose.
Some take the easy path, settle for the status quo.
I'll take the challenge.
I'm a cotton field in the burning sun. I'm the lash of a whip when the day is done. I'm a mother taking her son from the ends of a road. What he's done, God don't know. I'm the pain my mama felt while she was breaking that corn. 'Cause the boss man made her work till the hour I was born. These are the hands that fix the food with a smile. For in my mama's lap, she rocked the boss's child. Do you want to see this land? Then listen to what I say. Do you want to see this land? Look in my face. I'm a soldier on a battlefield, far away from home, who's fighting for something he's never known. A ghost from my past guides me from day to day, and to know I'm going right keeps me on my way. Do you want to see this land? Listen to what I say. Do you want to see this land? Then look in my face. My mama felt a soldier on a battlefield. I am the lash of a whip. I am that cotton field. But a ghost guides me from day to day, and to know I'm going right keeps me on my way. You want to see this land? Listen to what I say. You want to see this land? Then look, come on, look, go on and look. Look in my face.
Poem for a lady whose voice I like. So he said, you ain't got no talent. If you didn't have a face, you wouldn't be nobody. And she said, God created heaven and earth and all that's black within them. So he said, you ain't really no hot stuff. They tell me plenty sisters take care of better business than you. And she said, On the third day, he made chitterlings and all good things to eat and said, that's good. So he said, if the white folks hadn't been under your skirt and been giving you the big plate, you'd have had to come uptown like anybody else. And she replied, then he took a big black greasy rib from Adam and said, we will call this woman, and her name will be Sapphire, and she will divide into 4 parts that Simone may sing a song. And he said, you're pretty full of yourself, ain't you? So she replied, show me someone not full of herself, and I'll show you a hungry person. That's the poem I did for you.
Yes, I think I should probably tell you, you know, maybe other people don't, that I had that said to me in 1942. I worked at the Howard Theater in Washington, and a black band leader told me, there's millions better looking, sing better, and it hadn't been for you being picked by white folks, you know, you couldn't make it. And it stuck with me a long, long time in my life, and I'm still trying to learn how to sing. But I say, inside every black woman, there's an Aretha screaming to come out.
You better believe it.
And that's me.
That's, yeah. I think that, I don't think it, you are the most imitated singer, black or white, as they say, in the world.
I think that happened because I was picked to, like the man said, I was picked at that time to be what they thought a black woman was like. I was picked as, even before my own development. And when they picked me, they found they had a tiger by the tail, because they really didn't know what was inside of me. And I was made to look like someone, not me. I was made to look like I had to learn to sing, and I was not allowed to imitate rhythm and blues records because they weren't played very much, and I was raised by middle class people who didn't believe in singing the blues. And I was made to look like Hedy Lamarr and so forth and so on. That's way before your time.
Oh, nobody remembers Hedy Lamarr.
Nobody remembers that. But I think then the girls who began to have the opportunity at that time, because they had finally opened the way for one, they began to put them into the same image too. And so we had a whole decade or so of girls who thought it expedient to imitate me because I was making it, you see.
They say you've been trying to change your image. I don't know what that means.
Well, I think what it means probably is that since Greensboro, as recent as that, and sit-ins, I was able to flee my establishment stereotype because young people had freed me. And I think that since I always have been what I am inside, that I've been able to survive because they really didn't kill anything black in me.
I was, because I remember you were out in, I think, Las Vegas, and you beat that guy bloody with your shoe.
Yeah, well, I drew a little blood. It was in Los Angeles.
It was in Los Angeles.
That probably was the first time I felt less lonely by the isolation that was imposed upon me by very nature of its definitive isolation from my own people, from white people. This middle thing that I was in had kept me very much alone spiritually too. And I got insulted. I had frequently done so, but I hadn't done it at the place where there were a couple of reporters around. And the guy made me mad, and I struck him violently because I am violent in a way.
You trying to say violence purges the soul?
No, he just made me mad. And sometimes your madness just mounts into, beautiful madness. And I struck him, and I got tons of mail and letters and telegrams from black people who said, hey, thank you, and how wonderful, and all. I said, my God, I'm not alone. And that was in the 50s. I had lived a long time without that feeling. And there are so many young black people now who I see doing things that are revolutionizing me and the world.
Let me sort of ask a question that might be difficult. Like you grew up with, like professionally with Billie Holiday and Dinah Washington.
Yes.
And you survived, and they didn't. Do you? I'm sort of asking, I guess, to respond to that. Like, why? Can you?
I don't know. I didn't want anybody to kill me. I think I didn't want them to destroy me. I mean, let's say I won't say hate because it's very bad, and I've not allowed myself until recently to love and open myself up to love. I was strengthened by my active disinvolvement, hidden, but it kept me surviving, and I think my background, my people must have. I find great migrations made by my great-great-grandmother on both sides that I didn't know anything about until I was in my 40s, and they survived, and it must be in us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that, you see, I love Billy very much, and I love Dinah, and they were both very gentle women to me. They were very good to me when I was starting. And I think I began to know about the sisterhood during those years.
You had a personal tragedy. Your father died, and then your son.
Yes, this past 6 months I've lost my father and my son, and they were both black men that I was denied until I was along in my years. My father and my mother separated when I was 3, and my son was taken from me when he was 3. But I got to know them when I was older, and they really fulfilled a great deal.
When you got ready to marry Minnie Hayden, one of the statements that you made was that you didn't have the strength to marry a black man. How would you?
I had married first a black man, and I wasn't a big enough woman to help him. I married him because I had nobody. I ran away from life as a chorus girl at 16, and a stepfather who was white that I didn't understand. And then I found out how difficult it was for a black man to live at that time and to exist. And I failed him. I didn't know. I didn't have enough consolation in myself because I'd never had it to give to him.
What do you think about the Angela Davis case? What do you think about Angela?
I think that I hate to see another one of my young women being destroyed.
When Angela was arrested, they had a thing uptown. Her mother came, and her sister was up there. And one of the parents at 13, I believe, one of the young ladies was saying, they can say Angela is beautiful, and they can say she's brilliant, but she's right in the same women's detention home that the sisters that walked the street are in.
What I'm so afraid of is this actually is a calculated genocidal move in many instances, because the threat of this kind of strength that these young people have, which may not always be comparable to the kind that our ancestors had, is so positive and so fearless that it frightens people. And I don't want to see this continue, but sometimes I worry that it's a concentrated, thought-out effort to not have a young generation so strong and so beautiful.
I'm trouble. I am trouble. I'm trouble. Troubled in mind. If someone don't help me, I surely leaves me behind is someone to hold. Help me. I surely will die. Will die. I'll die.
All right. I'm going to share this other clip here.
Alex.
I was hoping you'd come.
I'm looking for Alex.
Oh, I wish you hadn't seen that. But you won't tell anyone, will you? It'll be our little secret.
I won't. Have you seen Alex?
Do you want to watch? I caught.
Wow. They were talking about set of principles, and I keep talking about the balance of the body and what we need in our lives. The 7 principles of my aunt: truth, justice, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity, propriety. And all of these we have been robbed of, right? Affecting our man, the black man, and then thus trickling down to the ultimately to decimate the black woman. But because we have a natural balance, we're not as out of whack as we see in the movies played on Lifetime. Meaning having these psychological imbalances. Which is what has affected us as well from the get-go. That psychological imbalance of not having a system or not being able to create their own system, thus relying on us and stealing from us to create a system or to get something that they much needed in their lives, in their society, and a way been envious of us for what we have. When we had our businesses, our Black businesses, our Black towns, land, our society was doing well, but their society was going through a Great Depression as well as recession. So they were enduring a lot. Thus, the corporations saw that if they allow us to, or had us integrated, then they could live off of our abilities once again, as they did in slavery. So we were integrated back basically into the same situation, same system that brought us, that put us in forced labor in the first place. Without truth, without justice, without harmony, without balance, without order, without reciprocity, without propriety, without any of this in our lives. But somehow we still have been able to rise above, but not all of us. Some Black women out here actually have to give up their children to survive. They have to give their children up to a system that they know nothing about. But they do it because they don't have a roof over their heads, they don't have food to feed those children they have. So many Black women are forced to do this. See, decimate our Black men, and the ultimate effect is the woman, the Black woman. It's an atrocity. But this is what we lack: principles, balance. In a society that would probably just doesn't even know anything about these things, basically, or don't hold things like this up like it's important, as if it is an important part of our existence or of their existence. So, now I'm going to go over I'm going to show this video because he has a lot of good, inciting things to say. And then I'll end it there after his video. Okay, this is good. I just thought this was a good.
This is where your food goes in at. Your digestive tract works in here. This is where the food goes, gets broke down.
Let me go back into the beginning.
Step back and pray on you and wait on you to kill you. That's what you do to roaches. Exterminator do that too. He come in, he'll spray, and he learn everywhere where they been, the cracks and the crevices, and he hidden spots. Back over behind places. He leaves stuff that don't just kill that day. This stuff here work for months. That's what they did with crack cocaine. You get on crack cocaine, it'll just kill you then. It kill you over time. They got roach spraying stuff. They had the stuff red years ago. You spray, you kill the roach. And you know, they realize you don't stop a system. So what you do is you feed a roach. Well, a roach will take stuff back to his home.
When a roach take it back the way he reside and resident at, other roaches will come in, they'll migrate together, and they'll socialize. Then they'll have sex and create other roaches, and they'll begin to exterminate the whole family. What you think they did when they gave it that government cheese? What y'all think they did? Put crack cocaine and put cheap alcohol in there. It didn't kill a man right there. It killed him when he got back home. The wife finally got frustrated, feel like she can't live with a drunk no more. The kid feel like he can't stay up, he can't keep up with us. So I got to go out in the street and make it for myself. Kid go to jail, wife run out, get with somebody else, kids get abandoned, get left. They did a better job than they did with giving you that $1 billion, you explode when you get it like the raid can. People don't, I'm telling you, now set you up. Everything is about taking them back into your home. They learn how to destroy the colony. They practice with insects. Then they moved up to us. You don't know why they're killing you. They're killing you because you lack knowledge. You lack knowledge. You lack vision. Hello? You lack ideas. All your ideas come from your oppressor. Tell me a good idea you got. That's what I thought. All your ideas work and evolve inside of his system. You don't have a good idea. He tell you how you beat him. You beat him at the ballot box. White people showed you what happened when the ballot box didn't work for them. They went to where they count them at. They said, I don't believe your numbers. Not you. We lost, he said it. That's how they get you every time. They count it. They tell you. Hello? Man, them folks pull out, and they got everybody betting on the number to win some money, and you don't get to check the number. They give you the number. I know when you pick is in the system generate. I'm going to let a machine generate me a number and put my money on it. That make a lot of sense. How many of y'all went for that? Because that's probably the best way to win. Let the machine pick it. I got one honest person. The rest of the people still got that's what the quick pick is. Let the machine pick it. No, they got one machine to pick it for you. What is it? That's quick pick. Oh no, that bad. You know, he said, Uncle Ted, no, he just that man, why he ain't go down by himself, Uncle Ted? Look at Uncle Ted, look at you. Buck. I don't know what's wrong with Buck, Uncle Ted. We working with him. But that's the truth though. Think about it. They train you. Think about it. I guess I'm gonna say how we look at this. Suppress. I guess we'll look at suppression. So looking at suppression, you kind of deal with the conscious and the unconscious mind. So this is stuff they'll put on you and they'll play you and they start to play with you with psychology. So what you tend to do with the unconscious mind, before you realize that you learn to just kind of put things. How many of y'all got stuff in your past you don't think about sometimes, then it'll kind of come back up. It's your unconscious mind. That's what it is. It's your unconscious mind. It learns how to suppress and push things back and out of the way. And that's what you do when you go to work. You push back out of your mind that's how he got you. He put you in a system that you still haven't broke out of yet. Everything that you run and you go and do, he used it against you. You have to learn how to make it work for you. He went to ballot box to pass laws against you too. Now you go to the ballot box and all the laws you vote for are the laws he put on the books for you to vote for. You don't get to create one. You can learn. Niggas just learn about writing in a candidate. We ain't been too long. First time I wrote a candidate, it was in 1992. I had to argue with a black woman, had been working out for 14 years, said she had never heard it before in her life. I said, I need a write-in ballot. Now you don't have to do all that. Now you got the little pinch punch machine do it to you. I told her I need a write-in ballot. She said, no. So I said, I need a write-in ballot. She said, I don't write-in ballot. I said, I need a write-in ballot. She said, I don't write-in ballot. She said, the white woman walked over there, the white lady said, she said, what's the problem? She saw a kid gun. She said, what's the problem? She said, he told me he want a write-in ballot. She said, well, get him one. She said, a write-in, but he said, yeah, get him a write-in ballot. She said, I've been working here for 12 years. I ain't never. I said, look at you. I said, why would you know? I know you're a coon. They ain't gonna teach no coon nothing like that. They giving it you and told you that's who you supposed to vote for. What's on the paper? So you see what happened? That's how they get you. Before you know it, see, we hadn't realized that these people have worked us so long. We've been due so long. We hadn't actually. I think the word look is what they pretty much put us into. I guess we call we haven't been in an autonomy type system where you can do something without being coerced to do it. See, with us, we pretty much are coerced into doing something. They give you your choices. You gotta think yes or no. It's a choice. I'm gonna vote no. I still gave you choices. You know what I'm saying? You don't have all your choices, all your real ideas, all your opportunity to come from them. Whatever you want to be, you gotta be in the next system. Anybody? Give me something you want to be. Any kid? Anybody? Is there anybody want to be anything? So what you want to be, JoJo? A who? If there be no interpreter, let him speak as. I was like, oh, playing the NBA. You know who owns that system? Mr. White Man owns that system. Which means in order for you to play in the National Basketball White League, that means that system has to allow for you to do that. That's how the whole system works. Whatever you want to be. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you can go to school, you can score all kind of high accolades, sail on your test, but you got to take that man's bar. You got to take that man's exam. And that man got to certify or prefer upon you in order for you to work in that field, to work in this system. Hello? That's right. And you're going to still be stuck under his regulation. It ain't, oh, I'm going to go get my own law firm on. You're going to be under his regulation because you could be disbarred. They can take your license because it's his system. He gives it to you. Whatever you want to be, if it's a truck owner, a trucking company, or just any business you want to be, it's going to be under his regulation. He regulates everyone else. You ain't going to get and do what you want to do. You're going to meet up, you're going to be under the Federal Motor Carrier Act. And you're going to be under the rule of the regulation of the railroad. That's who controls trucking, the railroad. Most of the niggas don't know that anyway. They be looking at them train things, them train control. That's who control them road rights and what you do. The railroad. You know, you got, I've been working on the railroad all the live. What is all the live long as I've been living? White folks don't sing that song, them nigga song. Y'all all right? I'll get you a new song. They gave your own song, Big and Small messed it up. Told the girl so pretty, gonna put her daddy penis in his mouth. I can't sing that song. They like, yeah, I just put something else right there. Yeah, but you know it go right there. Just let him have it. How y'all think these artists, let me tell you something. I don't know. It causes a problem. I don't know what to call a problem. Stuff causes problem. Most of y'all don't know just how influential the CIA has really been, do you? How many of y'all remember a man named Alice Dallas? He was the head of the CIA back when Kennedy got killed. Dallas, huh? He was the head of the CIA when Kennedy got killed. He was also on the board to investigate Kennedy's death. You know, do y'all know what Kennedy was looking to do? He was getting rid of the CIA. Most of y'all didn't know that, do you? How many of y'all didn't know that? Kennedy swore to get rid of the CIA. He was getting rid of them. Y'all know who created the CIA? J.P. Morgan. Most of these people don't know that. J.P. Morgan, all of the top 5 of them, they actually created the CIA. Dallas used to be the attorney. He was the attorney for these people. Do y'all know how y'all got in that Vietnam War? Because they wanted the opium. The war for Vietnam had nothing to do with no war in Vietnam. It had to do with the opium. These people controlled the opium that came out. See, when Kennedy found out exactly what he had been led into going into the Vietnam War, Kennedy wanted out. Not only was he pissed, he swore to get rid of the CIA. He told them when they made a fool out of him in the Bay of Pigs, when they set him up and told him they could exterminate Castro, we could put some of his food and make his beard look like it's falling out. He'll get sick and die over time, like they did Hugo Chavez. And them people got slaughtered when they got down. And Kennedy was an embarrassment. He said, they're done. I'm getting rid of the CIA. I'm bringing everybody back from Vietnam. Most of y'all don't know JP.
See, doing things behind the president's back.
Chase Bank. They're responsible for how you got it in him. Then you don't know. Y'all gonna let me tell you these lies, are you? Oh, please don't let me do it. These people made a fool out of you. Y'all don't also know they're the people control your stars. Oh yeah. That's why some of them be hooked on drugs. The CIA used them and let them perform and let them people be known drugs. All these groups, you come out, they crashed out on these drugs. Y'all don't know they infiltrated and actually put them on drugs. And most of these folks, y'all don't know about it, do you? They actually put them into these parties. These people have came out and these people have confessed about this, that they have been invited in parties and came up high on drugs. They induced them, they brought people in that put them on drugs. Just like they did to you. All the reason I'm telling you about this, I'm not mad with them. I'm mad with us. Because people that look like us know this. People that look like us know this. They still let us be victims. All these rock stars, these big stars, all these rappers, these drug addicts you got here, these folks ain't nothing but operatives. I've been told y'all about it. They're all operatives. They help sell you cheap bills. You think I believe that Dr. Dre, who ain't got no medical degree, is as talented as you think he is to get where he at? Dr. Dre, all these pills helps facilitate the food that got you messed up. These niggas ain't gonna kill nothing but time. They'll talk that trash to you by killing and banging. What them niggas done bang? These people aged. They know when we hear, they know it'll entice us. And we'll feel like they speaking for us and they part of us. And they'll do you just like Trump did his white folk. They'll be sitting back at home while you'll be in jail rotting. The same thing Trump did, the same thing they did to us. Hype us up and make us think they with us and make they think they part of us. Make that. How you part of the suffering I got? You make billions of dollars. You see him with these people. They help promote the propaganda. The reason why people still incarcerated, still why homes are torn up. Why women get disrespected? Why men don't get respect? Because of these guys. You think they go home and talk to their wives like that? No, this make a fool out of you, make you talk to yours like that. You think that's how they go pick up a woman? That's how they get you, keep you from getting a woman. Now you need a man. And you're supposed to be a man. See, we don't look at how these folks facilitate and make a fool out of us. Huh? What they taking away from us is what has, we had something about that was basically innate, but we lost that. We lost it. It's kind of like when somebody's born with a particular characteristic. We lost it. Survival, self-motivated, self-predicated. You know what I'm saying? We're people love. They made us hate. To prove it to you, we're the only people that can beat the hell out of us, and we'll still come back and we'll put it back together. We'll jump in between the victim who looks like us and who is us to protect the victimizer. The only person we've never learned how to love and forgive is ourselves. He took it. We lost it. We were innate it. We had it. That's an inborn gene. Yes, we can become angry and we can become destructive. It's because we give you more than a fair chance. And when we realize we've been duped and we've been played, then we got to tear up something. Something got to get tore up in this mother. You know, we got to tear up something before we leave. But they created that monster. They created it. They sit us in here, these preachers that flounce around, and they ain't just on no Sunday, they on Shabbats. They on the Sabbath. They on the seventh day. And these people are criminals. They're criminals. The fact that they sit back and withhold knowledge from us that's vital to our survival. I refuse to come to sit down and be taught a book, or teach a book that only lets me survive in a room. I need to get out of this room. When I finish reading, when I finish getting instructed, I need to leave this room. What I got to be bigger than this room. It's got to be bigger than this. It's got to be bigger than this street. It's got to be. I have to be able to operate it wherever I go. Otherwise, I can't use it. Y'all got it? Some of y'all, you've been comfortable. That's a teacher. You can be enlightened in the room. It works for you in the room. But when you get out of the room, it don't work. Then you don't need it.
No, I'm not.
What works for you out there?
Wendy.
What works for, if something works for you better out there than here, than what you're getting, you shouldn't be here. I only come here to get better. I only come here to perfect my skill set. But there are some things that I have that the white man can't take away from me. So what we have to do, we have to learn his system. We have to learn his verbiage. We gotta learn his science. We gotta learn his mathematics. We gotta learn his history. We gotta learn his English. We gotta learn all this in order to find out where we been played at. These people don't like it. They play these people. Our people been played. They give us a badge and a gun and put us there, and we still be powerless. You know what kind of power it is? Hypothetically, I raped you, I beat this, I'll kill your mom. You love your mom? I kill your mom. You love your grandma? I kill you. I kill everybody in front of white now, and I give you a gun and a bag. You all right? So, you'll give me a gun and a bag, you'll do that to me? It's because he know we have unconsciously we've suppressed our real feelings and emotions. He can express here. Anybody don't like it can get out of here and go back where they came from. Why would he say that? That's hurtful. If I say something that my life matter, then they need to talk to me and bring me in. We need to have a conference. There have been some complaints. So now I got to go to the unconscious mind where I suppress it and seem as though it doesn't exist. You know what kind of training, what kind of psychology they have to use on you to get you that state that you have to, hypothetically, you will have to put out your mind that I kill your mother, everybody in your family, wipe that out just in order so you can be accepted here and not be looked at for the fault. You hear me? The fault and for the wrong of your color, and you invade being here. That's sick. That's sick. So what do we do? No, we do like they do with the circus. The show must go on. You can't have no circus without it. They ain't got the clown. The man tell you, you know what the whole theory of the circus was? It didn't matter. Listen, if the monkeys want monkey, if the elephant want elephant, if the clown want clown, the show got to go on. That's the man, the ringleader tell you. That's what the ringleader tell you. The show must go on. The show never stops. So when we stop the show? So somebody can recognize the wrong that's been happening to us. We need to regroup. We need to stop. We need to just take a break. We need to take a breather. Sit back, let's talk. Let's conversate. Let's talk about where we at and how we got here. I remember one time I was driving trucks. I thought it was 24 hours. I was exhausted. I was riding, driving. I was following behind the other driver. There was two of them in the truck. I thought I was driving another one by myself. Somebody screwed up and everything was supposed to be on one truck, but they screwed up and put some of my stuff on his truck. Some of his stuff was on my truck. So we had to run two routes. Well, I had to follow him. We had to get his stuff off of get what he had off his truck on there, so I could pull my truck on there, pull out what I got that belonged to him. He got to go to meet in my store, so we do the same thing to his truck. This all night to 24 hours. It's awesome. I'm riding. I looked up, I seen the sign said 985. I locked the truck down. Pulled over, I jumped out the truck. He pulled over, he came out, he ran back there, he said, what's wrong? I said, I don't know how I got him. He said, what? I said, I don't know how I got him. It scared the piss out of me. I seen 985. I was in North Carolina. And I'm riding behind the truck. I was just so locked into the back of this truck. I'm following him. So when I saw 985, it scared the piss out of me. I pulled the truck. I jumped. I just started walking. I walking from my head, get my head. Wind was blowing. I was like, it was car. I needed the air. I was like, it scared the piss out of me. I was like, when I don't know, I remember getting in my truck. I didn't remember how I got to that spot. And he was trying to tell me, he said, you good. I was like, I'm not good because I don't know how I got here and it scared me right now because I've been driving this truck and I have not been conscious. But yeah, I was maintaining lane. I was following. I wasn't dozing. I just looked and saw a sign said 985 and it scared the hell out of me. Hell is not a real word, by the way. So please don't think I use profanity. It is a Greek word. It does not exist. They actually created a place called hell, the name of the whole mindset of it. You know what I'm saying? This is part of them again. Messes with your collective mind, your collective conscience. We'll talk about that too, possibly. But I just remember walking and looking at, I'm here, but I don't remember how I got here. You know, that's my story today, coming to here. We just been following behind something. From Jesus to God, even coming into what we're looking at now with Yahushua. Our people have learned to attract to anything, because sometimes they play to a point to where part of the game is this: I can make you like somebody else. You know, I can do that by being such a bad person to you. It'll make anybody else look better than me. The person that look better than you is somebody I actually inscribed and put up to. Islam. It's the religion of choice for the Negro who has been tied and oppressed by a white man. It does not subscribe to the white man. It does not advocate the white man. It does not solidify the white man. So they'll accept it and say it's that. But then they go to Mr. Elijah Muhammad's house. Mr. Farad is hanging on the wall. White man. Farrakhan got Farad on his wall. Farad was a white man. That's who taught Elijah Muhammad from Sandyville, Georgia, who moved to Chicago and suckered everybody. So can you really be smart enough when a Southerner came and suckered all of y'all? From Sandyville, I did say Sandyville, Georgia, didn't I? Sucking them out. That be honest with him. Sucking them out. Now he listen. East Coast, West Coast, all the coast. Sucking them out. Man, I'm told, get you over there. They put death in that to them. You get your most dope right now. You get your guns right there. You know what you find? No manufacturing labs there to create it. They can talk about cooking it up. I'm talking about manufacturing cocaine. I'm talking about manufacturing weapons or making bullets are not done in the projects. Which means the white man had learned when he made the Roach Motel, the Bait Motel, he did the same thing when he gave us the Motel 6. Ain't nothing but a Roach Motel. The Econo Inn. Where you get your dope? Anytime you see, you know you get dope from them. Motel 6, Econo Inn. These days in it, you already know what you get when you go. That's dope. So now they set them up just like the Roach. You think that when he made the Roach Motel, he was actually just looking at the Roach? The Roach are the same color as you, nigga. No? The Roach trying to do the same thing you do. He just trying to pick up the crumbs. That's what you do when you get these little piss-ass jobs you got. You just trying to pick up the crumbs. You just trying to make it, trying to get something, take it back home. You see a Roach walking, got 3 booties. Loaded down with rubber. You see one here with a baby, trying to hustle. That Roach look just like you. And they did the same thing to your home. You hadn't thought yet. You think he just want to kill Roach. He want to kill you. And he know he can't kill all the roaches, otherwise he out of business. He can't kill all the niggas. He just got to kill the niggas that got the conscious mind. Because the conscious mind, the nigga going to be thinking. He going to be watching. He keep trying to find a hustle and a scam. And I'm always looking for the hustle and the scam, what he doing. Because you know what I'm trying to look at. You do everything he said. You live good, live clean, eat right, do good, and say your prayers. Wash your hand before you eat. And where you supposed to be and what you supposed to have. I ain't get it like that. So I just started watching him to see does it work the way he said it does. I want you to question. I want you to watch. That's what we do. We look. We're not just selling because we have a name. We're not just selling because we're finding some verbiage. We're looking for behavior. We're looking for history. How long has this existed? Has this existed since the 1900s? Because then I need to ask what happened in the 1800s. If I find something that happened in the 1600s, I need to know what happened in the 1500s. I need something that's been existing since man came before man came. Y'all got it? What was man? What was the intentional purpose of when he established? And if it works, that's what I stay with. Y'all got me? I want you to suppress nothing. I want you to unsuppress it. All the hates, all the rhetoric he give you, just his ideology. Don't listen. We gotta talk about it. We gotta stop suppressing it. It makes me mad. So why? The only way to fix that makes me mad is to make some corrective measures. What makes you mad? The way he treats me. Well, let's stop letting him treat you. The way he handles me. Let's stop letting him handle you. So I don't want you to suppress that, because that ain't going to change it. Let me borrow you for a second, kind of, sir. I never met you before, Kerry. How you doing? Never met before. First time we ever met each other. So you don't like that. Okay? This makes you mad, okay? I want you to suppress it. It's not happening to you. Put it out of your mind. It's not happening. He doesn't like this. He hates it. It makes him mad. We need him to suppress it. How about we get him and you put your head, stop me. See that? And you can, all that time you've been putting away that anger, and it's been eating him up. The acid from his belly. Did y'all know you create acid in your belly from that? That's how you get ulcers. The acid will start to eat away at the lining of your belly. This is where your food goes in at. Your digestive tract works in here. This is where the food goes, gets broke down, and is sent to vital parts of your body for nutrients, for fuel, for brain food. And all I had to do is just, this is what he don't like. So what does he do? What happened? He's suppressing, but inside he's angered. He can't do nothing. Y'all tell him to pray. Tell him how you angry. Tell him how you angry. Tell them to hear you. Come on. What do you need to do? Pray, son. Pray. Pray. Why he sitting here in self-destruct? Thank you, kind son Carrie, who I never met before. I was going to ask you your name, but I ain't going to worry about it. We have to take a different approach toward what's been happening to us. We can't let the person that, here I was telling this man to pray while I'm pushing on him. It's easy for me to say that. It's not being afflicted to me. It was easy for you guys to say pray. You weren't being pushed. And that's how they get us. Plus, did anybody ever think about what was his background? Does he have a felony? Has he been arrested before? How do we know he wasn't a drug dealer? Huh? Nobody thought about that. Probably one of them gangs. Crack dealer. So all these things supposed to come in your mind. That's how white people get you and get you to stay in the unconscious state. Because you always know how to ask yourself, what did he do to deserve that? As when master beat him. When I talk to you, boy, you answer me, boy. Boy, when I tell you, who know the problem is? Somebody say, here, boy, what's the problem? He didn't answer. What should he do? You hear the answer. When I'm beating him, I'm hitting him. Answer me next time, boy. So y'all sitting here, y'all look like logical people. If I'm beating him because he won't answer, what does he need to do? So he not answering, I'm still beating him. So what happened? He's bringing it on himself. Come on, don't be stupid. If the boy would answer me, I'm only using that as a figment, not calling him boy. I know our people have been such in a state. Now we look at how we blame Carrie, who I don't know, never met before. Sometimes I just learned his name. Because he won't answer. Instead of who gives me the authority or the right to beat another man. Because I got paper that I wrote up and people that look like me wrote up. Because I got a piece of metal that I melted down and shaped and put eagle wings on top of it and inscribed some letters on it and said, this why? Do you understand the people that beat you and oppress you made up their own paperwork? Their paperwork didn't come from Shamaim. They conferred upon themselves. You telling me I can go to college and get my own degree? I can go to high school at a 12. I've been here long enough. Let me walk down here on my paper and tell them I give myself a graduate. What are they gonna do? They're gonna laugh at me. They're going to laugh at me and say, you ridiculous fool. Who do you think you are? You can't promote and graduate yourself. Why won't you tell him that? That's right. Why won't you tell him that? That you hadn't agreed to his paperwork. Yeah. You hadn't ascribed to his laws that work against you. Same man with laws so right and so just had laws against you. 2 or 3. You know, your book, the book you read. You believe it said, well, 2, 3, gather together. And what he'll do? He'll be in a minute. Son, they got a law that had if 2 or 3 blacks were gathered together, sir, that you should be in a jail. That's illegal. That's an illegal act unless you do it in my prescribed church under my prescribed laws and etiquette. You do know a lot of black people were locked up for 2 or 3 of them being together. You're conspiring. You're loitering. But then you read a book that he gave you, he wrote, that said when 2 or 3 you gather, that Jesus, Jesus, gonna be in the midst. Y'all not practical. Y'all not practical. Y'all not practical. You read a book and you cry and you weep. And it's a fairy tale. He don't believe what he gave you. He don't believe what he gave you. Why you believe it? If the person that wrote it don't believe it, why should I believe it? The person that described it to me don't even obey it. Why should I obey it? Then I have to find something he didn't handle. I got to find something he didn't subscribe and something he didn't create. Yahuwah. I get back to what was in the beginning before he got here. I get back to what was established upon promises. You know, the Constitution give you inalienable rights, they call it. Got promises to it too. That when a person either born or integrates here and meets all the protocol can inhabit some of the same graces as people that are naturalized. I wonder where they got that from. From Yasharal? Because we had the promise. We had the promise. And anybody else that was going to be a recipient of it had to conjoin with us and conform to what we did. You joined and conformed to what he told you. Why you ain't got the same right? Then makes you still a foreigner. If you're a foreigner, then you need to get back to what regulate or what gives you your right or your ability. This doesn't. That was set up for him. I'm not married to a wife. I'm not teaching you to be married. Be married with yourself. Because now we can sit down and we can talk about it without the fear of worry about it. He can't do no more than we let him. You got to let him do it. White people done showed you don't need no guns and no guns and no knives to beat them. Hell, they pushovers. And when they do use them, you know they use them on you. They don't use them on him. Because they consider him to be a man or a woman. You ought to be insulted when you look at them videos. The fact they actually fight, you don't see Billy. You saw Rodney King, how violent he was fighting back with the police, and how they would pick him up and slam him to the ground, how they had to handle him. Rodney King would have loved that kind of treatment that he saw them getting. Man didn't swing one hand on did it. Took about 10, 11 police officers, went Billy Club, 3 pair of stun guns attached to him. Tasers. Y'all know they had tasers. How many of y'all didn't know tasers were hooked to him the whole time he was on the ground? How many of y'all didn't know that? The entire time he was on his hands and knees, he was being tased. That's why he wouldn't go down. You got to go back and watch the film. What most niggas not paying attention to, why you'll see a couple of officers stand by, because they were tasing him. He was being tased. He was so high on PCP, his body was, it's recognized, but your brain not conscious to feeling it. He couldn't lay down. He was being tased. They left him in it. He was constantly being tased. Why he was being beat? Get out! Get out! Get out! Why he was being tased? That's the kind of stuff they don't tell you. But good, clean white folks saw it. You know what they said? What happened with the first 2 minutes of the video? Talking about when the man sitting from the porch, he had to go get his camera. He didn't know it'd last that long. What happened before that? Same man with white people. Because you know what I asked myself? They got books, Leon. They got video of people of color getting beat, getting whipped, getting hanged. Why don't I ask, what happened to my people before that video? What were my people at before that video? Why does every image, every idea, every sense of being of myself always entail me chained, naked, hung, and beat? A black woman with no shirt, tits out. A piece of material here, ass out. Chained to something going. The kids in cages while white people sit around and throw food to them. Did y'all know they used to put out people and they had petting zoos? Most of y'all don't know where that come from, do you? Petting zoos came from putting our kids inside of a little ring and white people throwing them little food. Can we pull this up? You gonna let me tell a lie? We'll pull it up. Can we get that? Please sound so we can keep working. They don't even know. For the record, I've been preaching. Anytime I educate my people. This is for my people. Y'all go ahead. Escaping evil. That's it. Please. I'm talking. Let's drop it down. Let me see. This ain't stuff you want to see. This ain't stuff you want to know. It's stuff you got to know. Look at that. You great English people. Look at this. These human beings. Listen, again. Y'all see that animal? These are people. These are human beings. These are lovers of God, prayer warriors, constitutionalists, lawyers, and doctors. Ship builders, metal workers, manufacturers. This is an animal. This is an animal. Nothing told these decrepit bastards. This is who we'll deal with today.
Yep.
This human being was reared by this good, clean, white American woman with no blemishes. Look, smiling, happy. Nothing told the conscious mind. Let me tell you something. The collective subconscious is where you put, well, just think about collective, what it means. Things you take. So these are things from when you were born, you take in, you keep. This is how you form your fears through the collective subconscious mind. Okay? That subconscious mind is how you know if I do something, just say, you saw that, but you saw your collective subconscious mind said something's jarring at me, protect. I can get hurt. See that? These bastards don't have a collective subconscious mind. A personal subconscious mind is what shapes you. Okay? These are things you take, and they make you to determine kind of what's good and what's bad. The personal subconscious mind. Without that, that keeps you, this is their ideology. That's what keeps you from being or creates you to be who you are. Without that, you aren't who you are. You got it? How many of you would consider yourself to be a good person? That would be from your personal subconscious mind, which is different from your collective subconscious. Okay? And we start to deal with the suppressive, unconscious mind. You got it? So that's why it's so important to learn these things about these people so you can see what do you know of a certainty these people, based on what you just heard me tell you, don't have. They don't have. See how quick you picked it up? A personal subconscious mind, which would be what creates them and forms them. Exactly. Which will actually help them to be, well, a good or a great worker, a good or a bad person. It's all dealt with or formed from the personal subconscious mind. White people, like these people, don't have
It's acting up. I know it's acting up. Oh. I'm probably going to go out, but I'm going to come right back in. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? It's acting up. I think it's trying to take me out. But I'll be back in. I don't know what's up with this. Get out of here. Yeah, it's just the computer's acting up, so I can't really tap. I can't really touch on anything. It's not allowing me to have rainbow colors going around in circles. Little will. So it's probably gonna take. It looks like it's trying to take me out of this. So I'm just waiting to see what it's gonna do. It's actually slow. Usually it shuts everything down. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and close out. Yeah, all is well. I'm just trying to figure out this camera, what's going on with this screen screaming. It's acting funny. It's like it wants to kick me out, but it's not actually doing it. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out because I am getting sleepy when this is acting too crazy tonight. So with that said, true love, real peace, the higher self within us, soul. And I don't think it's gonna let me click out. No, it's not gonna let me do. Yeah, see you soon. See, it's acting up. It's not letting me close out of here either. I'm gonna have to cut off. I'm just gonna have to cut off everything. But I hope I don't lose my I don't think I'll lose the video. I don't think I'll lose it. Oh, you hear me, Emmanuel? Yeah, there's something going on with my screen streaming. Oh, goodness. But anyway, we are a broken people, but we're also resilient, very resilient people. We've been, it's a gift, it's a present for us to be gifted in a way where we have that strength within us quite naturally. So, with when we look at what they were doing to Trump, the Democrats, what they were doing to Trump, Trump came in office to hold them accountable to the people. So Maxine Waters and all these other Black leaders, political leaders, did not want to be held accountable to their communities, to their people. For too long, we've been like, in a way, like he was saying about the subconscious, it's not that we have consciousness, but we have been, like he said, we've been following behind the truck. And the fact that we've been following behind the truck, we wake up and we don't know how we got there. We're in a whole different situation that goes against our nature. So, like he was saying about I'm trying to remember here. Kind of lost my thought. I hate when that happens. I hate it. So we're not thinking on that higher level we're supposed to be thinking on. If we were our whole selves, we could think on this level of um, not just accepting the symbolism. I want to say the symbolism, but it's more than that. It's just like the Caucasian. Okay, the Caucasian now, because they don't have the consciousness that he was speaking about, they're not aware of when they have to actually see things happen, but they're not aware of any um, of their own people. Many of them are never was aware until you start learning from our experience or learning from what we talk about, and they call them waking up to their own being a danger to them. But because of the lack of that consciousness, you wouldn't be made aware of it. They wouldn't be aware of it. Just going through life, not giving that a thought or having to have that as a thought process. Just like when the little girl was in the cage and they were looking at her as if she was a pet animal or something like that. Yeah, I'm trying to complete it now, but I don't, because I can't cut off. Yeah, I can't cut off. So it's not letting me click anything. I might have to push the live. Until next time. Peace and love. All right, I'm back. Yeah, the computer started acting up. So definitely calling it a night. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Guy, Nollywood, Oliver, Christopher, Mr. Parrot Brain, Emmanuel Briggs, and Yusuf. Thank you so much, brothers. Thank you for your support. Go in peace and into the dreamland. Till next time.